Hello everybody and welcome to Bruv Code. And if you're new to my channel and you're watching this video and you want to know how to code or you are learning to code, start now by subscribing right now and hitting the bell so you don't miss out on any new future videos. In today's video, I'll be teaching Python by working through a project. So for this tutorial, I'll be using Visual Studio Code, but then if you want, you can use whatever code area you want as long as it supports Python. And I also love using Visual Studio Code, but then you can use other editors such as Atom, Vim, Sublime Text, and many more. You can even use Idle if you want, because the Idle window also supports this project. So which means we are not going to be using any additional modules for today. The only thing will be, and in this video, you have a great understanding of how to define functions in Python. You also learn about basic print statements of the jazz, and you also learn how to read files in Python. So now let's start working on the project. So in this project, we'll be making a login program using Python. And now this login program is very simple to understand, and which means if you at the end of the video, if you got any questions about Python programming or you're stuck on this video, and you have to let me know, and make sure to let me know in the comment section below so I can help you out as much as I can. Okay, so now let's get right into it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to define a function login. To do that, you have to type in def login, and here we just want to get some user inputs like getting a username and a password. And now to do that, I'm just going to call it something like ask username equals input. Let me just say username, and now we just want to get a password. So say ask password equals input password. Alright, and now we want these inputs to be strings. So whenever the user will enter a number, or whenever the user will enter their username or their password, which their password will have numbers and all that jazz, we want to make sure these are strings. And in order to do that, we just want to type in str for the input statements. Just type in str. And now that we have created our function, we can now run it. In order to run it, we just type in something like login. So I'm not going to be doing the advanced way, but then since this project is for beginners, we're going to be doing it the easy way. Okay, so now let's run our program, and I'm just going to use a terminal to run this. But then if you want, you can use and if you're on VS Code, you can just hit the green arrow and you can either choose to debug or the jazz. But then I like running it for this tutorial, and we can just say, and if you want to run it directly from the terminal, make sure you're in the same directory as your Python file, which in my case, I'm in my Bruv Code folder, and I'm just going to say or tutorials, and I've called my tutorial, and which in my case, I've saved mine as tutorial.py. So to run my file, I'll just say Python followed by the Python script, which in my case is tutorial.py. It's asking us for a username. Just imagine I just enter Feder for this example, and enter a password. For instance, I'll just enter something like password 123. It does not do anything at the moment because the only thing we're getting is user input. And now we want to have a text file to store our users and passwords. And to do that, we have to create this manually. So we just want to say, so go to, if you're working with VS Code, you can just click this button that says new file with the paper icon with the plus sign, and it's going to ask you to enter file names. So for this example, I just call it something like logins.txt, and make sure you're in the same character as your Python file, which in my case, I'm in my Bruv Code folder, like I said earlier. And I've set mine in project tutorial, I've set mine as tutorial.py, and this one login.txt. So just type in the user names. I'll just enter something like another user. I'm just going to say enter something like user one, say password. Okay, so now that we have created that, where I can now close this terminal because I'll be running my code over time. And now we just want to define a function to read the logins. We're just going to type in def read underscore logins. And now we want to open the file inside this function. In order to do that, we just want to say with open followed by your text file. You can just literally name your text file whatever you want. But which in my case I've called this I've called it logins.txt. I'm gonna open it in R. And R is short for read mode. So whenever you want to read a file in Python, you put R, but then whenever you want to write to a file, you have to put W. But for this tutorial, we're going to be using R since this is for beginners. And we're going to open this as a file. And for instance, we're just going to say as F. Now we just want to read the contents, so let's call this something like contents equals f.read lines. And that will just individually read the lines. In other words, we just want to print the contents, so just type in print contents. And I've saved this in a variable called contents. And instead, if I just change this to read logins, I'll say read logins. I just go back to my terminal to run it. Just gonna open it up, and if I just type in Python tutorial.py, I get the list of usernames and passwords. And one thing to realize, we have this \n character. And what this character means in Python is the new line character. So these programmers use it when they want to start a new line faster. Now we want to remove this. Now what if we want to remove this? So let me close this terminal for now, and I'm just going to go back to the read logins function. And now we're going to have a variable called new contents, and we just want to say new contents. We're going to set this to a list. Oh, sorry, it was a list. I accidentally pressed shift by accident. And now we just want to say for line in contents, and this is a for loop. And here we just want to say fields equals line dot split, and then we just split the lines individually with a comma. And otherwise, we just want to say fields one equals the fields one, and it's going to use a strip. And basically, the number inside the um square brackets are also known as indexes. So then it's basically an index, and we just want to say new contents dot append, and we want to append our fields, and that will just simply append the fields. Otherwise, we just want to print out the new contents. So if I just have a new contents, we rerun this. So let me just go back to my terminal. I'm just gonna clear this out. I'm just gonna type in Python tutorial py. We get the \n character removed, and now we have individually put each username and password in the list. We can say we get a username, password, username, password, username, and password. Okay, and now let's now finish the code. And now instead of having to just print the new contents, I'm just going to say return in new contents. I'm just going to remove this bracket. And now we just want to say logins equals the read logins function. Of course, it does not take out any additional parameters. After the video of functions is from my Python basics. My Python basics are quite old and the videos themselves are not very good. I recommend you not watch them. But if you want, the link is in the description box down below, as well as my other tutorial series. And now we just want to have a variable called logged in, and we're going to set that to false, because when I'm setting to false, that means the users are not logged in yet. And otherwise, we just want to use a for loop. So let's say for line in the logins, and make sure it must have created the variable. It must be it must exactly be the same as your variable name. Otherwise, if you call it something else, if you call the variable say for line in logins, and if you've not typed in the variable correctly, it's going to give you an error that this is not defined. Okay, and now I just want to say if line with an index of 0 is equal to ask username. Oh, sorry, username. I'm a silly Billy, and the logged in is still false. And now we want to say if line with an index of 1 is equal to ask password, which is equal to the password. We want to set logged in to true. And whenever the password matches, it's going to set the logged in to true. Okay, and now let's continue writing the code. We're almost done writing the code. The only thing we need to do is we want to add some if statements, and then we'll add another function to print welcome, and then we'll run our final function. And now we just want to say if logged in is equal to true, and if the logged in is equal to true, which means the user has entered a right username or a right password. And here we just want to print successfully logged in, and then we just want to define a function called main, so I just type in main, and I also need to define that, and we just type in def main. I'm gonna type in pass for now, and pass will tell Python that we want to skip over the top contents for now. That means programmers use pass as a use it as a placeholder for future code, basically, since this is for beginners. Otherwise, we just want to say else. We want to print username / password is incorrect. And again, we just call our login function. And why we're calling it again is because we ask the user to enter the password again, which means when the user enters a wrong password or a wrong username, we want to call our login function again, which will just say username / password is incorrect. Then it's going to ask the user again to enter their username and password. And now let's go to our main function. And the only thing we want to do is just print out welcome. And instead of changing this, instead of just calling read logins, we're just going to say logins. Oh, sorry, login. I spelled the function wrong. I'm a silly Billy. Alright, so that is the final part of our code. And the only thing we'll have to do is now run it. So if I just say Python tutorial py, it's asking us for a username. So if I enter my username Feder, and I enter my password, which is password 123, it's going to say successfully logged in. So if I log in again by rerunning my program, so if I just enter my username Feder and I enter a wrong password, for instance, I just enter something like password 321, it's going to say username / password is incorrect. Then you can also check the logins if you want. And I can log in as other users. So if I just say another user WordPass 321, it's going to say successful logged in. So guys, that is pretty much everything for this tutorial. So thanks for watching. Before I end this video, please leave a like if you appreciate this video. It helps me out a lot on my tutorials. And subscribe right now and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any new videos. So that means you'll be notified whenever I create new videos. So subscribe now and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any new future videos. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. And if I was a little too fast or a little slow, I have some tutorials with my Python basics, so sometimes you may want to check those out. Otherwise, that is all from me today. Cheers and goodbye.